As far as build quality and form factor is concerned, this may be the best looking MSI laptop I have seen in quite a while. I had the Z16 in my studio recently, but this I'm already liking more than the Z16. They call it the MSI Summit E16 Flip, and in this video, let's unbox it. I actually am excited about this laptop for a few different reasons. First of all, it promises to be a thin and light laptop for creators, but it also totes a RTX 3050. And so with that in mind, I'm expecting to have good performance in a thin and light package. Now, the question I have is this somewhat of a newly revised modern 15? You know what I mean by the modern 15, the MSI modern 15 and the modern 14. That is the question that we hopefully will answer in this video and then in videos to come. And so if you want to make sure you don't miss out on the full dedicated review, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so when that one comes out, you're sure to catch all the dedicated benchmarks, color gamut ranges, and the like. All right, I like this box.
That's what it is.
I know, this one looks cool. All right, MSI, here we go. Get rid of the box. Here's the inside here. It feels thin. It's pretty thin. I have my background audience, as you can hear. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this off. I like that. If you can't see that right now, let's go ahead and, so if you look, this is actually like a, kind of a rose gold color. So, see it there.
That's the same one.
I know.
Up there.
Super cool. So I'm liking this. It's looking good. It's a little heavier than I would have expected, but I'm actually quite surprised by the size of it in a good way. This is really, really neat. I didn't research this much before they sent it out. And as far as build quality and form factor is concerned, this may be the best looking MSI laptop I have seen in quite a while. I had the Z16 in my studio recently, but this I'm already liking more than the Z16. The reason being is it has a singular piece of aluminum along the bottom of the chassis rather than that two-tone design that they had on the Z16. And it appears to be maybe slightly thinner. I'm going to check that out. I'm going to post the dimensions of the Z16 and the E16 on the screen to see as far as the thickness and thinness is concerned, but I'm really liking this laptop so far. Let's go ahead and check out the ports real quick. We have USB Type-Cs on the left side of the chassis as well as an HDMI, and it looks like a manual cutoff switch for the webcam. So that's always a good sign. And then two USB Type-As and a micro SD card slot as well as a headphone jack. Now I wish this was a full-size SD card slot, but we're gonna have to be okay with the micro. That would be one area that I wish they upgraded it to the full SD card slot. I know the Z16, I believe, has the full SD card slot, so that'd be one area where I'd put the Z16 above this laptop. All right, so when I first filmed the video, I got a little ahead of myself, so I went ahead and remembered, hey, you should probably unbox everything that's in the box. So we have our charger block here, which looks like a 90-watt charger block, power cord, and then, of course, our MSI Pen, a 2-in-1 pen, and yikes, it looks like this pen got bent in shipping, which is quite unfortunate. But we have a charger, we have multiple tips in here, but that is super unfortunate. I mean, look at that. Hopefully your pen doesn't show up like that. I mean, I don't think it's supposed to be like that. Is it supposed to be like that? No, it can't be. Yeah, because that's not how it looks on the box. But anyway, my pen came bent. I assume yours will not, but mine did, and it still works just fine. But keep in mind, this is a 2-in-1 laptop. So you can go ahead, flip it over, and have a massive tablet to do your work on, which is fantastic. So I've got plenty of drawing space here. And I actually kind of like that the pen's bent. It kind of fits to my hand a little better. But you have the pen, and then the actual keyboard shuts off when you go into 2-in-1 mode. So if you're holding the tablet mode, you're not going to touch any of the keys, which is really nice. And so you have your pen mode, and that looks really good. And then you can go ahead and pull the cord out of the charger. So if I want to plug the pen, all I have to do is plug it into the side here and grab my USB port. And now the pen is charging. Good to go. So on the go charging capabilities. There is no like slide-in slot for the pen. That's something I've seen computer companies do in the past, but since this is such a thin laptop, there'd be no really good place to store this pen. They'd have to make it substantially smaller. And if you have to decide between a very thin pen that slides in or a full-size pen that doesn't, I would go with the full-size pen. And I'm sure if yours shows up bent, they will be apt and quick to replace it. Whoopsie. Now before we move on, I want to go and check how this is attached to the bottom of the chassis, and it looks like they've secured it very nicely. There's a little bit of a ridge there where it connects the bottom cover to this side panel, but it isn't sharp. It just kind of flattens out rather than nestling in and kind of like curving around. So I like how they've set this in nice and snug, no sharp edges. They've done very well here with setting up the bottom cover into the side panels. I'm gonna go ahead and do an open and close test here. See if it opens and closes with one hand. It's a little hard to get started. Kind of got to get a fingernail in there. And then it's a pretty stiff hinge. As you can see, it moved there. So let me go ahead and support it a little bit. Yeah, it's a stiff hinge, but I do like that sometimes. So the hinge isn't so floppy because now, like whenever you get it up, it doesn't really flop. It just stops. A lot of hinges, they can like bounce really far. So yeah. I'm liking the look of that overall. Now let's go ahead and check out the screen flex here. Man, that aluminum is really doing well with keeping the screen flex from happening. This is one thing that MSI has done on the past 3 laptops that I have reviewed. They've given us this very narrow trackpad. I don't like this. I really wish they would give us a taller trackpad. And to me, there's no reason why they shouldn't. They have all of the room here to do it. So in the future, this would just be my recommendation. So far, first impression, I wish that MSI would do a bigger trackpad. It just feels a little small, especially with the trackpad on the Asus Zephyrus G15, the M16, the Legion 5 Pro. These all have larger trackpads that are tall and wide. And so that's something I would definitely want to see MSI do moving forward. Now, as far as the stylings are concerned on the inside of the lid, they have like this gold trim that outlines the edge of your screen. That is really cool looking. And of course, we have our webcam here with the manual cutoff switch on the side. Here's a quick sample of the webcam so you can check it out for yourself. Here is the webcam on the Summit E16. Definitely grainy, but the color is good. It's very accurate upon, what my color complexion actually looks like, and then of course an audio sample for you. Now in regards to the keyboard, it's a quiet keyboard with a nice medium key travel, good backlit keyboard. The backlighting comes through really clean, and I like the small numpad. They've actually made those buttons smaller than the regular size keys, as you can see. That's neat. I've actually never seen that before, which allows the laptop to not get too wide. It keeps it nice and narrow, so you have a smaller form factor. And of course, you have this nice, tall 16:10 aspect ratio, 16-inch screen. Really, really great. And we do have a vent here coming out of the top of the keyboard deck. I know a lot of you are going to be concerned that's going to blow air against the screen. I'll check that out and report on that during the full review, let you know my thoughts if that's blowing air at the screen. This usually isn't a concern with most laptops, but I know some people talk a lot about it, and so I'll make sure I cover that and take a look at that during my full review after running all the tests on the laptop. Now, before I flip the laptop over and check out the internal components and see the upgrade path, I must say that this laptop really is catching my fancy in a positive way. Outside of the smaller trackpad, I don't have anything that I'm really seeing as a big concern as far as build quality and usability so far. So I'm excited to test it out. I even want to say here that one of the most important things I noticed so far is that there's no fan noise happening right now. On the Z16 and the Creator 15 OLED, it had this fan noise at idle. No matter what you did, even if the laptop was idling, it was running the fan. So far, I don't notice that on the Summit, but I'll see as I start to test it if it has more predominant fan noise during using this laptop, whether it be web browsing or just listening to music or even just basic tasks. We should not have a lot of fan noise, in my opinion. All right, now as we're taking the bottom cover off, this is either a very, very thin piece of aluminum or plastic. I can't really tell at the moment. I want to say it's aluminum, but I think it might have plastic edges here, and then this is aluminum. So, all right, as we get into the device here, you can see we have our heat pipes along the back here. Now you have a swappable M.2 drive here, your airport card, and then I wish we had swappable RAM, but unfortunately, I'm guessing that the RAM is under the motherboard. Some companies have been doing that to make the computers thinner, so your RAM is not swappable post-purchase. So make sure whatever you purchase this laptop at, it's where you want to be long-term. So whether that's 16 or 32 gigs of RAM, make sure that your decision is final, because it's gonna be final. Overall, if you're curious about the exact pricing and availability of this model, you can head down in the description below and click one of those links. If you do use that link to make a purchase, I will get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. But of course, that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. Likes if this video has brought you some value, and subs if you want to miss out on the full review coming up later on this channel. I'll see you guys in that review.